The NASCAR Xfinity Series race concluded last night in Martinsville, and Hailie Deegan was able to get another top 20 finish in Xfinity. What's going on, guys? It's Daniel, and welcome back to the video. As I just said a second ago, last night the NASCAR Xfinity Series race had concluded, and Hailie Deegan was able to bounce back a little bit and was able to get another top 20 and score an 18th place finish. A very solid comeback for Hailie Deegan, because when you look at what happened at the beginning of the race, she was running around 25th or 26th early in the race. I think a lap 35 or 36, the second caution race came out, and unfortunately it involved her. Brennan Poole was being a little bit over-aggressive. I know Brennan Poole had a faster car than Deegan at the time, but he's being a little bit over-aggressive, and Sally took her out and got her a lot of damage, and Kyle Weatherman had nowhere to go in that situation. And I thought once that wreck happened, I'm like, oh God, here we go. She's going to basically be out of this race. But she never gave up. She stayed on the lap multiple times, went a lap down once or twice, but as the race progressed, she started picking up positions, especially on the long run. She got up to 24th. She got up to 23rd, and before the final caution of this race, or the last two yellows, she actually got as far up as around 22nd. But then at the end of the race, there was a couple big wrecks that ended up taking place. She was able to survive, and she scored her second top 20 finish of the season so far in Xfinity, and also scored her third career top 20 in Xfinity as well. Again, 18th place is not a run where she's like competing for the win by any stretch of imagination, but if you look at the damage that she had at the end of this race, for her to finish inside the top 20 in 18th position, you do have to be very, very happy for her. Obviously, you look at the Rookie of the Year standing so far, you have Jessie Love, who's absolutely dominating that portion with Shane Van Gisbergen right behind. In fact, SVG is in the playoffs currently at the moment. They've both been doing really, really good. But for her to finish in the top 20, that's what we need to see. And if she can bounce back and get top 20s, that's what we need to see for her, especially when we go to a lot of these road course races down the road, because we're going to have a lot of races coming up, especially where I do believe we're going to have more than 38 cars showing up. And she's kind of in that danger zone of making or not making it. Right now, she's 30th in the owner's points, so she needs to get a little bit better in those owner's points to make sure she's not in a danger zone of missing races going forward. And having runs like 18th and getting points is really going to help her on that front, because you're guaranteed into the races if you are in the top 33 in the owner's points, but you have to qualify in the top 33. And with her being 30th in the points right now, we just need to see her continuing to improve every single race. AM Racing is still, you have to remember this, they're still a relatively new team and a new relative organization. But that being said, she needs to just continue to improve as the year goes on. She's had some incidents that she's been involved in. Some of those incidents that have been her fault. Some of those incidents that, unfortunately, have really not been her fault. I go back to this race, for example, at Martinsville. They were trying to blame her for pinching Brennan Poole down. Brennan Poole just really dumped her in the corner, not necessary in my opinion. And then she got caught up in the big incident and wreck, but luckily for her, a lot of cars got out, and she didn't really get a ton of damage. And for her to finish in 18th, a very solid comeback. I didn't think she was going to finish inside the top 20 after all that chaos, but she was around that top 20 near the end of the race, and she gets a very respectful 18th place finish. Again, if she can continue to finish inside the top 15 and top 20 on a week-by-week basis, I think that's a really good step in the right direction. Because like I said, she needs to be getting these finishes and laying down as many good finishes as possible, so she is in no danger of missing races going forward. But again, I want to see her to continue to improve, because she's under a lot of pressure this season. You think about a lot of the pressure a lot of people put on her, especially how Brett Moffitt formed this car. Brett Moffitt, I think, got 6 or 7 top 15 finishes or something like that last year and finished around 16th or 17th in the standings. Well, Hailie Deegan currently at the moment is 30th in the owner's points right now, around 25th in the regular season standings. We just need to see her continue to improve, and I really do hope by the end of this year, for her sake, that she can finish inside the top 20 in the standings. That would be a really solid season, because you got to look at how many competitive cars are out there. Xfinity, there's a lot of competition. I know that the Joe Gibbs cars and the RCR cars have dominated this season so far, but you look at all the cars that have been extremely strong. You look at some of the competition she's around. She's around drivers like Shane Van Gisbergen at the start of these races. She's around drivers like Matt DiBenedetto, who finished behind her in this race because Matty D got some damage at the end of the event. She's basically sometimes competing against drivers like Jessie Love for position, even Sheldon Creed at times. We've seen her trying to get better. And I think that the more experiences she gets in Xfinity, I think the better this she's going to be. I want to see her continue to improve and see what she can do. Because like I said, she wasn't great in trucks. Let's be honest and real. she wasn't great in trucks. And I've really been waiting for her to have that emerging performance. And she had that great performance at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, where she ran top 20 pretty much all day long and was able to finish inside the top 15. And now she did get a top 20 finish, nearly got a top 15. And now her next big goal is to try to get another top 15 finish next week at Texas, which she did, to be fair, in the Truck Series race. She did get around a top 15, so she did show some big improvement there last year. I know she struggled in the beginning, but she finished in 6th. So that's a race for her that I think has to be at least circled just a little bit, because that was one of her few top 10 finishes she had throughout the season. And like I said, there's some good tracks that are coming up for her in the not-so-distant future. There's some short tracks coming up. There's road courses. I know people, which I'm not as excited about it at this point, because let's be real and honest, that performance at COTA was not very good for AM Racing. But to be fair, AM Racing's road course program last year, Brett Moffitt especially, there were a ton of DNS. So I think that unfortunately affected her. But once again, 18th place, solid performance for her, considering the damage she had. I think you got to be really happy if you're a fan of Hailie Deegan. I'm happy to see her perform as good as she can. I want to see her continue to improve, because if she can continue to improve, that will help her going forward into the future. I just want to see improvement. We need to see that improvement if she is going to stay in the sport long term, because you look at her age. I think she's 23 this year, and again, there's still a lot of time for her to progress. I think ultimately her long-term goal is go Cup Series racing, which certainly wouldn't shock me or surprise me at this point in the not-so-distant future if we do in fact see her go Cup racing not too far down the road, considering Ford really likes her and wants her to move up. But like I said, I just want to see that improvement continue to come in. She needs to be consistently in the top 20 on a week-by-week basis. So 1, she doesn't go home in these races, or 2, she doesn't fall out of contention in these races going forward in the future. Again, great comeback for her, finishing inside the top 20. Good and solid performance for her, considering all the factors that took place that put her in that bad position at the beginning of that. Again, great comeback for her at Martinsville. So that is going to be today's special video on Hailie Deegan. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, notifications on, so if I win a video, it does go live on my channel. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and support my Patreon as well. Links description below that, and comment your thoughts below on today's video. How would you rate Hailie Deegan's performance today or yesterday at Martinsville? Do you think she had a really great comeback, or do you think 18 was not a good run considering the equipment she's in? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Later today on the channel, we have the NASCAR Cup Series race review from Martinsville. Then tomorrow on the channel, there should be a NASCAR news video. We've got some news that we got to talk about over the course of the last couple of days. We also, on Tuesday, we might have the intros video dropping for Texas, but as of right now, I'm not entirely sure if that's going to happen. We'll have to wait and see. There's also going to be the Truck Series race picks as well coming out on Tuesday. Wednesday will be another NASCAR news video discussing news over the course of the last couple of days, and also Xfinity Series race picks. And then Thursday will be Cup Series race picks for Texas Motor Speedway. So anyways, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching today's episode, and I'll see you guys next time for more good, awesome NASCAR content and other motorsports content on the channel like this. Take care, everybody.